Hello. Hello, boils and ghouls, blisters and others. But which camera am I using? I don't know which one I'm using. Is it this one? Yeah, ooh, yes it is. Cool. Whoa, blurry. Not blurry. Blurry. Not blurry. Hello, hope you're all right. Yes, just a reminder then, as we welcome each other. So hi Nick, hi Angela, hi Rachel, hi others around watching. Feel free to comment and join in. Hello if you're watching later. Hello on YouTube. Hello on Facebook. Hello on X Twitter. This is an X Twitter. Yeah, welcome everybody.
You're welcome here if you're she, he, we or they. You are welcome here if you're gay, straight, working it out. You are welcome here if you're in a relationship, single, divorced or widow. You're welcome here if you're inked, pierced, both or neither. You're welcome here if you're young or young at heart. You're welcome here if you just got out of bed or out of prison. You are welcome here if you're more Christian than Striper or never quite got the whole God thing yet. You're welcome here if you're living on a prayer or could use a prayer right now. You're welcome here if you've got it all sorted or if you've got doubts. You are welcome here.
Yes, you are. Choice! The whole gang's back together again. Get the band back together. How has your Saturday been? Well, good share and catch up. I keep thinking I've gone deaf in my other ear now, and I haven't. It's because there's an earbud in there. Ha! Just like to keep it there in case I lose it, like my glasses. Anyway. I hope you're all okay. Good chance to share in a moment how we're all doing. Some news and updates and things as well. Just general things occurring, which is cool. So, yeah, most importantly, we are here as you are here, and we're all together. And so is the divine, the other, the metaphysical, the grand of our being, God, love. Insert word that works for you here. So, blisters and others, please do be upstanding and joining in with the gathering.
As moon rises, the sun slips sight, begins the ritual of this night. For those convinced their path is right. Gathered from north, south, east and west, yet called at another's behest, those treading the path that is left. From near and far come as you are to this place and embrace this space as darker hue embraces you. Of water, spirit, earth,
Hello,
and
Hugh.
fire, confessing the sins
Howdy,
of empire.
Hugh.
We come with our wounds and desire. Sensing that we are not alone, drawn to the flame that guides us home, for here, you, me, and yet to be. Importance and signs of these times, for the sake of all those maligned, is yet the home of the divine.
Crichton.
So yeah, how are we doing? Hello if you're commenting, hello if you're just watching, hello if you're joining us for the first time. And just to explain what we do here, so it's a chance just to gather, reflect on the day, have a reading from the Bible. What is metal? The Metal Bible, so metal it's made out of paper, and share thoughts on it, share the ups, share the downs, but hopefully end the day with a sense of not being on our own, of being together. So that's cool. If you're up for that, feel free to comment and join, whether you're on X or Facebook or YouTube. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, so in terms of music, original music anyway, in terms of not original music, not really able to do that on the Facebook live platform due to algorithms and copyright and Facebook not wanting it to be a music site, and no matter what you do, and so if you want music, please do check out the Metal Methodist mixtape over at metalmethodist.co.uk. Look, it's going across the screen. Catch it. In the meantime, how's today been? Anything today that's been cool that you want to share? I mean, it might have been cool. The weather's slightly post-storm here. How are we doing? Let's have a think and have a share. Okay, thank you. That was some cool ones. Glad that Nick's geraniums are okay. Already announced Stephen and his theological nuggets during bath time, and we'll be fine. Okay, scrolling back, keep scrolling. Okay, so I'm saving Nick's first comment till last. First of all, let's deal with this. So Angela has shared that she has had a most excellent time with the mission planning training with West Hearts and Border Circuit, and Donna was able to participate in one session. Cool. Oh, that's okay. So I'm glad she was able to do that. Donna, if you're watching this at some point, hope you're feeling better. Cool. So mission was planned. Excellent. Did you play the Mission Impossible theme tune at the end? At the end, just do 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 do. The sort of Limp Bizkit version from Mission Impossible 2, particularly, just kind of out here. Anyway, so that's cool. But also, you mentioned Metal Methodist. Yeah, did that go down like a lead balloon? A concrete Zeppelin, a Led Zeppelin. Cool. Oh dear. Right. Oh dear. I mean, out of interest, was there anybody there who was at 3Generate, or people who'd taken people to 3Generate? Any feedback from that? Not that you have to share it in here. The good, the bad, the ugly. And that's enough about me. Well, 2 of those things. Dear. So Nick's brought his geraniums in case it gets frosty. Right. Is it forecast frost? Ooh, dear. But I hope they're all right. Care for nature, you see. Caring for oneself, enjoying nature, whilst also caring for God's creation. 2 of the sort of activities and principles and commitments and behaviours of a metal Methodist way of life, which is just like the Methodist way of life, but more metal. Just as Yorkshire tea is tea, but from Yorkshire, therefore it's better. Says Hild. Yes, she does, repeatedly. And Joyce went to St. Albans and had a look around the cathedral. Was that your first time there, Joyce? So bizarrely, looking at the state of me, did you know? I did my ecclesiastical theological training in St. Albans. You know, yes. Yeah, we used the crypt. We crept into the crypt each Thursday night that had sandwiches. Yeah, there was 3. Lots of lawyers, barristers, very, very, very doing quite well, and high up in their professions, people training with the Church of England, either as potential, diaconal training, but also as readers. And then there was 3 Methodists. What's happening? So it's Vicar Polytechnic, really. But yes, so that was cool. So I enjoyed the graffiti in St. Albans. That's cool. And the Roman graffiti, isn't it? I think, yeah. And once turned up early and had a bit of pray by the shrine of St. Albans, which was a new experience being a Methodist, and only ever going to cathedrals maybe once a year in the northeast for usually linked to the miners' gala and a look round or something, But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it, Joyce. And I gave myself St. Albans knee in St. Albans, carrying theological books from the car park. Is it Holywell House? Administrative bit. What is that? Is it blurry, or is there something on my screen? Hello. And by the end of the training, I kind of done my knee in. So now when I walk uphill, I get a twinge of St. Albans knee. I don't know what St. Albans knees were really like. Quite bony now, I would imagine. Anyway. So cool. And the other one from Nick, and I'll catch up with the other comments in a moment. Sorry. Where's it gone? Okay, cool. Catch you later, Nick. Nick's got to run. That's good news. What, you running, as in going, or are you running, like 10K? Anyway, take care, my friend. And Nick wasn't able to make the Support for Palestine rally today in Sheffield, outside City Hall. I don't know if it's kind of less flooded around there today, but yeah, I think all of us, all humanity, whether we pray, don't, whatever thoughts, whatever positiveness and peacefulness we can pray, channel, intercede, campaign, write for, whatever. Right. Okay. So Rachel just finished your mini lecture on the link between masculinity and religious belief in a program or film. That's interesting, Rachel. Ooh, where was that on? How are you doing that? What is it? A whole course? Link between masculinity and religious belief. That sounds interesting. So a particular film, or so okay, No, tell us more. That sounds fascinating. Was it really, Nick? Was it filmed in Sheffield? Good grief! So not just Doctor Who, but wow. All right, okay. So no groups from that circuit with its Fiji this year. That's I say probably the sort of the disused bit at the end where sort of the final fight scene in some sort of post-industrial apocalyptic landscape was probably the bit near Sheffield, right? And there we are. Look. It's the train bit. Oh, linking everything. Thank you. Oh, how very interesting. Oh yeah, because there's something else where that was being filmed. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna play the Mission Impossible theme tune at next time. Okay. Was I singing "Bow the Knee"? I stiffly bow the knee. Oh, yeah. Okay, you're not running now. Okay, that's philosophical, whatever. Anyway, okay, it was a TV program. Ooh, nice. That's interesting. Can you point it in the chat? That sounds very, very interesting. Ooh, and Nick went to an installation about brutalism, Park Hill, etc. Cool. That's interesting. So I remember the exhibition they had at 35 Chapel Walk. I can't remember the guy's name. Local artist, but quite having obviously moved to Sheffield, that was quite an educational experience for me. I mean, most things are educational to me. Most, I mean, they should be. Yeah, cool. So we've had a day of okay. A TV program that's before my time. Okay. Oh, let's talk guilty pleasures, people. So to give this, well, in a TV sense. So I know we're past the watershed, but anyway, quick, get the matron out. So I'm trying to think what that might be. But I mean, I'm only 21. I just had a very, very, very tough paper round. What I was going to say, and does anybody else remember Robin of Sherwood? ITV, like quintessential Robin Hood. So my spiritual home is Nottingham. Okay, The Sopranos, cool, excellent. Yeah, no, actually I haven't, but I look back at it now, the Robin of Sherwood, and it's awful, but yet fantastic all at the same time. It's slightly weird and mystical and woo, and Richard O'Brien pops up and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, thank you for sharing what this day has made you say. Truth and Dark. And so Nick kind of posted in some stuff around Israel, Palestine, Gaza, and some of the conversations we had last night. I think we thank you for sharing, and I think we touched on some stuff that has been and maybe is painful, and certainly not good experiences. And well-being and all those things. So again, just thinking from those things last night, and thinking about Israel and Palestine and the aftermath of because now here Derbyshire and South Yorkshire have all declared major incidences because of the weather. Obviously want to pray particularly for those things when we come to the pray bit, but anything that's on our minds we just want to lay down, even if we pick it up again tomorrow, but just to rest from it, or if there's stuff from today we want to let go of, then an opportunity to have a reflect and to do that together and with God. That's weird. I don't know why that blurring thing's kind of coming in front as well. This one's hair a nice sheen there. Sorry. I realise that I might have misread some of these in slightly the wrong order here, because Angela put in, Nick, are you aware of Christian Runners UK? At which point Nick responded, I lay down my anger and my fear. And I went, what, of Christian Runners? I'm sure they're lovely. But no. Thank you for sharing. And again, just sharing how things really are for us. Laying down anger and fear. Thank you for sharing that, Nick. And may you sense a peace and release from that as you do. I think prompted me to reflect a bit, and I know there are bigger things to be angry and fearful about in the world, absolutely. But on a personal level, for me anyway, I think just being anxious and fearful about what others think in terms of when you're trying to be you. And with Angela, praying for all those in the church who are exhausted, but keep going. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I now recognise I may have been coming down with COVID. I'm still not. I think, I need to do another test tonight, but I wasn't. I still got it a day ago. But yeah, certainly have to regenerate. And by the end of September, and this, for some ways, Big Hill's quite recuperating. But yes, yeah. I mean, not just physically keep going, but keep going, and but maybe don't see the fruit that they would want to see or long to see. Letting go of, or somehow finding it within us. I talked yesterday about resilience, but that thing of just being free from those who seek to rob life and joy and well-being and wholeness, and people who just the whole people spending a lot of time being bothered about who and how other people are. And look at that at the local level, but look at the personal level, community level, those who are othered and made to feel outside, but as you said last night, and then church context, the all are welcome, but actually really how do we live that out in a genuine way? But then all the stuff happening globally where people's freedom, right, ability to simply be is under attack. But some lovely news from Joyce. Apart from the fact that they're still in the situation, but thank you for sharing that, Joyce. Thankful that your relatives in Israel are okay and that you keep in touch every day. That's good to hear. And this is it. Again, I'm probably ashamed of my own ignorance in terms of the complexities of things in the Middle East, recognizing that, and again, I'm not trying to say it and be glib, but my sense that in terms of things after the horrendousness of world wars and the ways in which settlements were reached and the involvement of other nations and perhaps setting up tensions that are then, but again, just that belief that all are made in the image of God, and so each person affected in that situation is a custodian of God and is precious, and that we give thanks for those who are safe, and just pray that there will be a peaceful way forward. So let's lay all of that down.
The principalities and will to power, the worms from within my own darkest hour. I confess all the regrets and the regrets, the burdens and fears, the lament and
the tears.
The prince.
Sorry. And as we do, God in Christ, no matter how far away we feel from God or God from us, comes running out to greet us and says, peace. May come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, even if you don't like Iron Maiden, and I will give you rest. And as we lay those things down, may rest and peace be yours, and please God with the world. Yeah. I'm gonna get my oh look, hello Kate, hello. It's when you lay down and during the laying down that I just call it Toronto blessing. Yeah, I remember going to Soul Survivor during that and people falling down, and the sort of flippant bit of me wanted to kind of just fall over where they sort of come and pray over, go, no, I'm breaking my leg, call me an ambulance. But you know, that's because I'm a fool. That's why. And it seemed funny to me in the time. Anyway, so now a reading. From the Bible, what is metal? The metal Bible, so metal is made out of paper. Yeah. Well, absolutely for the Bible, what is metal? Yes, the words what I wrote, I didn't write them. But yeah. Anyway, so reading today, it is from Hebrews. What? You're making a cup of tea? No, Hild. No, the book of Hebrews. Oh, dear me. Anyway, when you brew, it's a she brew. Hebrews, she brews, they brews, all are welcome here. Yes, slain in the spirit. That was it, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was never quite. I don't know. It's just I don't know. Again, I've been to places where I've seen other people experience that. I don't think I was ever. Right, Angela wants to brew. Hild. All right, and kettle's on. Good. So, yeah, reading from the Metal Bible. This is from Hebrews, chapter 7, verses 25 to chapter 8, verse 6. Consequently, he is able for all time to save those who approach God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them. For it was fitting that we should have such a high priest, holy, blameless, undefiled, separated from sinners, and exalted above the heavens. Unlike the other high priests, he has no need to offer sacrifices day after day, first for his own sins and then for those of the people. This he did once and for all when he offered himself, and this is what we were saying the other night. For the law appoints as high priests those who are subject to weakness, but the word of the oath which came later than the law appoints a son who has been made perfect forever. Now into chapter 8. Now the main point in what we are saying is this. We have such a high priest, one who is seated at the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens, a minister in the sanctuary and the true tent that the Lord, and not any mortal, has set up. For every high priest is appointed to offer gifts and sacrifices. Hence it's necessary for this priest also to have something to offer. Now, if he were on earth, he would not be a priest at all, since there are priests who offer gifts according to the law. They offer worship in a sanctuary that is a sketch and shadow of the heavenly one. For Moses, when he was about to erect the tent, was warned, see that you make everything according to the pattern that was shown you on the mountain. But Jesus has now obtained a more excellent ministry, and to that degree, he is the mediator of a better covenant, which has been enacted through better promises. So, I guess talking about fulfillment. Kate's having a brew. Yes, right. I would have charged extra. Yeah, so I guess reading, talking about priests, so we talked about the order of Melchizedek. I've been practicing it, and how Jesus in the line of that sort of perfect heavenly and does what we could not do for ourselves, kind of since Eden, really, and the beginning and through Jesus the high priest offering that kind of return to Eden and restoration that we're still waiting for the fulfillment of. But just bringing atonement. Whether you see that as a paying the debt we can't pay for the stuff that we've done, whether that's us individually, humanity, but making it all good. Jesus, an internal mediator. And I just think, again, those situations where in our own lives, communities, world, where, mediation and a way in which something might be a way found of bringing people together, something through which that might happen. That's nice. Although human and humane while among us. Yeah. Green tea, controversial. Oh, nice. I highly recommend, I don't think they do it anymore, but the black tea by the Infernal Sea, black metal black tea. That's quite nice. The Infernal Tea, which was their spicy kind of chai version, that was cool. What does that reading mean to you tonight? A chance just to reflect on it and to share. And then I'm going to share, I'll tell you what, while we have a think, I'll put some music on in a minute, but just to share something in response to that from the Methodist Word in Time at methodist.org.uk, something by the Reverend Nicola Vidamore, who's a Methodist minister currently serving in the Woughton. Oh, you'll know this one, Angela. Woughton, Woughton, Woughton Ecumenical Partnership in Milton Keynes. Stilton Beans. She's the author of the book Where Two Rivers Meet, Russian Windows and the Gospel. Ooh, nice. So she reflects on this reading that discovered a hidden treasure in the letter to the Hebrews. She loves the verse. This is the verse on Thursday. Where are we? The verse from today. Sorry, Hebrews 8:5. They offer worship in a sanctuary, which is a sketch or a shadow of the heavenly one, which always reminds me of Plato. I mean, Plato, Aristotle, Plato. Yeah, the idea that there is the physical, and that's a kind of poorer representation of the true essence of the spiritual. Which I kind of like the idea of, and kind of Jesus kind of saying that these are our earthly priests and this sort of stuff it'll do for now, but it's nothing compared to what the perfection of Christ can do, which is okay. I guess the flip side is, in that sort of spirit and matter divide, is that it's a couple of little steps from that to kind of go, well, physical matter, body, all things carnal, become or dirty or wrong or sinful, and then we're into Christian guilt and blah blah blah. But yeah, I kind of but pointing to the otherness and fulfillment and perfection of God compared to the state we get ourselves in as human beings. Totally cool with that. Anyway, so she writes, I currently have pastoral charge of a medieval church. Ooh, within an LEP. Wow. Find it deeply worshipful place. The walls feel steeped in prayer. Maybe you found that in St. Albans, Joyce. If the sanctuary of this church is a sketch or a shadow of the heavenly one, I can't wait to get there. Yesterday's passage was in danger of making earthly priests redundant because Jesus was now being declared as an eternal heavenly priest. Earthly priests were imperfect. Yes, Jesus is perfect. Earthly priests repeatedly offer sacrifices. Jesus offers one sacrifice once and for all. But she's reflecting that in today's reading, it kind of points to there still being a need and a place for priestly ministry, whoever that is carried out by, on earth. She reflects on her task in that role as being to help people see a sketch or shadow of the heavenly one. So seeking to be as Christ-like as we can and to offer worship to help people catch a glimpse of heaven. Being conscious that all this talk this week about priests may make those lay ministers, and we're all ministers, lay people feel excluded and important, which is not as a lay movement, Methodist way, believe in the priesthood of all believers. So all of us are called to this priestly role, to be a sketch or shadow of the heavenly one, pointing people to the great high priest. In the final verse of the reading, the word better appears twice. Jesus is the mediator of a better covenant, which has been enacted through better promises. Nicola's hope is that, as we've looked at it a couple of times this week, the reflections that we've looked on Hebrews might inspire us to be better at priestly ministry, of pointing to, enabling people to encounter that sketch, that shadow of a heavenly one. Although, I totally get it, but not equally, but I just think it's weird, isn't it? See, I've seen some of the sketches of Da Vinci, not of Da Vinci, by him. And I kind of like some of the stuff in William Blake's notebook. I kind of like the sketches more than the finished work. I don't know, does that make a heretic? Oh dear. So, do you see yourself in that priestly role? How does that feel? What do we point people to heaven? Have you experienced, is there a place that reminds you, you've felt that kind of glimpse of heaven that's pointed to it? Yes, Gnostic idea, absolutely. And again, I think for me it comes, gets into that kind of dark, bad, light, good thing, which I seem to really want to challenge. That darkness can be as light with God, but also, lots of stuff, recuperation and nurture and then new life emerges from dark. So I guess I don't always want to go, it's this terrible, that, and again, it's like we've said about some of the stuff in the world. If we just start to maybe there are more than 50 shades of grey. I once said that in a sermon, just to spot who tittered, you see. You've read it then. Anyway, everyone else is reading it, it's contextual theology. I didn't get beyond the first chapter. Right. Anyway, of course it's right. Wooten, pronounced Woofton. Of course it is. I mean, I get Flitwick. Of course it's Flitwick. I mean, only J.K. Rowling would do Flitwick. Anyway. So, yes, thank you, Nick. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Had a good discussion of Julian of Norwich this week about the eternal mystery of the power of the love of God in Jesus. Yeah. And when we did our Vicar School weekends away, we went to Ditchingham, where there was a, obviously, which is in Norfolk and near Norwich, and they had a big picture of Julian and one of her kind of visiony type things. The eternal mystery of the power of the love of God in Jesus. Yeah. And that prayer and hope that things are well, and all the stuff that we've talked about tonight, where we really need it, and in ways that we can't even imagine. We just can't see a way, and yet as the song goes, he is the waymaker, miracle worker. Whatever comes next. Okay, I'm glad yes, all hail the lay. I do like a bit of mysticism, and I've been kind of trying to find out more about Catholicism, and after we talked about Revelation, and then I disappeared down a rabbit hole with the Book of Enoch, which is an apocryphal book of the Bible, and I was inspired by somebody else who did a whole sermon around Holy Week on what Jesus, kind of Easter Saturday, that descent into hell and all the imagery of that, and angels, and we talked about angels last week. So I guess I've been that sort of slightly more mystical tradition. And again, I think because it does, or certainly it links with metal in terms that metal has identified with it, either because it's just really good imagery and makes for good album covers, but to deepen my understanding a bit. Anyway, Brian Blessed. Anybody else watch? I love Daddy Pig in Peppa Pig, with Brian Blessed doing the voice of Grumpy Rabbit living on a lighthouse. He goes, to see the sky, and Brian Blessed, who lives in a lighthouse, just goes, fog, which I particularly like. Pray inwardly, even if you don't enjoy it. Yeah. And I think in terms of pointing other people to it, it's that kind of that discipline of praying and that hope and living as if. I'm talking about NLP the other day and living it out and trying on different things and living as if. And what does that do to our faith, to our attitudes, well-being, all those things. And maybe in doing that, we do point people to give people that view, that sketch of what heaven might be like. So I think I'm not going to play the reading bit. Praying is hard, we can forget that. And 2 weeks, been 2 times I've done a group at a particular place, and both times somebody's talked about, asking the question, what is the point of prayer? Does it work? Because it doesn't feel like it to me. Or not even it works because you get prayers answered in the way you want, but just a sense of actually you're not, shouting into an empty space. And again, like we said with the Lamentations and the exilic literature of Israel, how long? And civil rights movement and that dream, and that, that there shall be. And it is shouting into the void. It's, you see, you're all very, very, if you all know Julia Dvorowicz, you say, I tried to read some, I've read little excerpts. So maybe I need to go and read that next. I think it's my issue with the Book of Revelation as well. I quite, I'm just always worried that, and again, because it makes you think and it makes you the language, and it's the metaphor and the imagery, and trying to go, okay, so what's that saying? What might that be saying? I'm so worried that I might completely get it wrapped around my head that I kind of go, whoa. I'd probably look at what somebody else says that it says, So for those who have read it, what does it mean to you? Is it okay that it means different things? Yes. Hi, what about book agree with me? All right, Hild. Did you write a book? No. I made lots of tea. Oh, well then. I'm about to say reading the tea leaves with Hild. No, that's a whole day. No. These tea leaves say I need to clean the saucer now. Yes, totally. Yeah, it is. No, it is. And Revelation is like a cheese dream, and Enoch is kind of up there. And so I was listening to some stuff whilst doing something else, like YouTube and podcasts and documentaries and stuff while I was doing something. The Book of Enoch, because that came up in something if we were talking about the order of Melchizedek the other night. So I talked about the order of Melchizedek and referenced kind of some Christian metal stuff, not the order of Melchizedek, but order of. Am I allowed to say it? Am I allowed to say it out loud? I don't know, because it's secret. Yes. I was wrapping around my head the golden order of the Almighty. So if you want, this is something you can Google and explore if you want to. Links to metal, and very, very interesting. And yeah, you know, I can't say more than that in terms of the order. But yeah, no, it's yeah. In terms of mystical stuff and all the rest, yeah, worth looking at if you like that, and if you like a puzzle as well. You know, as you journey through the different levels, then you might want to look at the golden order of the Almighty. Who knows? Who knows? But you didn't hear it from me, right? Anyway, can't think about Revelations without thinking about the Depeche Mode song "John the Revelator." Yes. So with Patrick, kind of been talking a little bit about Revelation. So I do. This is where I wish I got a sabbatical coming up, because I would totally now kind of want to do something around that. And yeah, mysticism. So I guess, yeah, okay. So I guess what we're saying is we should be talking about, yeah, we like the sort of language and the mystical stuff and the mystical experiences, and for me that definitely links with certain sorts of music, and I quite like that. But sorry, I just glanced at Facebook. Sorry, I'm completely waffling, aren't I? Sorry. Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like we talked about what that Jesus High Priest kind of means the other night, really. But I guess that, yeah, how do we give people a sketch of heaven? And some of those people within the mystical tradition, and some of those apocalyptic literature type books in the Bible where it talks about visions and in the spirit eye. Yeah, are they helpful? Have people had those experiences? Is it recounting genuine experiences? Is it just a way of writing in order to conceal, because of threat or risk at a particular time, you know, what people are really talking about, and to put it in a more, yeah, kind of hiding it in plain sight type thing. But does that sort of mystical language and things actually help us get closer from the sketch or shadow of heaven, closer to a sense of what it might really be like? Is it part of that journey? Yeah, which I think, yeah, is what you're saying there, isn't it, Kate? Like the mysticism is a profound possibility. Yes. Yeah, and that there are more things. Moses with horns. Yes. Yeah. And waving bronze snakes around, and yeah, you know, and burning bushes, and not tea bushes. No, Hill, not tea bushes. Yeah. It's yes. And again, you know, again, the problem is I get a bit sort of about YouTube or things going, well, I can't work out if this is, you know, sometimes it's where do you go? Maybe it's a minister, I should know this, I don't know, but you know, if you want to kind of delve into this stuff, and you know, you very easily end up in some sort of like slightly really type information and literature out there. Yeah, but to look at things like that with Moses and some of that imagery, I guess I'm interested in what were the other sort of religions doing at the time, and you know, yeah, who knows? Is this metaphorical? Is it what is it? Does it echo stuff in other religions at the time? Is it? I don't know. But yeah, I just, again, rabbit hole. Okay, showing my ignorance, which won't be surprising. What's a samovar, Kate? Is it a samovar over the rainbow? No. Yeah. So maybe this week, I think I like the idea of carrying around in my head where are the places where I'm glimpsing something of, you know, a sketch or a shadow of something that makes me feel I've glimpsed something of God's kingdom, of heaven, and I believe that heaven will be on earth. I think Tom Wright. Okay, a Russian tea urn. Oh, cool. I did not know that. Learning day. No, she doesn't. And because it's not from Yorkshire. Well, it might be. You know, people from Russia have been to Yorkshire. And she could do with one. She could do with being in one. All right. So, yeah, this idea, to look around and notice those times where we get a glimpse of a shadow or a sketch of heaven, and to reflect on how what I say or do, or we say and do, how that helps other people experience that. I might suggest maybe we carry that around with us over the next week and remind me to remind us to share about it. So that's yeah. So there's a sign in a shop near me that says, "Hey up, where's that going?" And yeah, when people are learning to read, trying to explain about dialects and kind of ways of spelling stuff, and when all that crosses over, good grief, yeah. Is there anything we want to? Okay, so Kate thinks about this all the time. God in all things and with all things. Yes, yeah. So I quite liked the theologian Schleiermacher. It perhaps criticised a bit for kind of getting close to pantheism. Seeing God in all things. Is there a line between that and seeing all things as God? And then so many gods, and seeing, felt like sour grapes, really, that criticism to me anyway. But yeah, that all things, and it's it's the reading for tomorrow about giving to Caesar what is Caesar and God what is God. So this coin, this tax that everyone has to pay to remind you once a year that you are an occupied people, and you have to pay it to the Roman emperor, and it's got the Roman emperor's head, and basically it's part of the new state religion of worshipping the emperor. That's so it's like idolatry, it's graven image, it's all of that stuff. But Jesus says, well, you give that to Caesar and give everything to God, because everything else, this little thing belongs to Caesar, but actually everything else that you are belongs to God, because you are made in God's image and you are a child of God. So yeah, if all things are from God and of God, then God is in all of them, or it is all God. Everywhere is holy ground. We are all God's children. So yeah, Schleiermacher I found quite interesting in terms of I suppose 20th century theologian or modern theologian who's explored that idea a bit. So yeah, it's kind of the theological equivalent to the Romantic poets. It's like wandering lonely as a chasuble. I don't know. Anything else we want to pray for this evening? Let's offer our prayers as we make our offering to the All-Parent.
To the one in whom all people and all creation have their being, may your kingdom come, your will be done, as above, so below. Sustain us for this day. Show us grace as we seek to show grace to those we feel have wronged us. Save us from the worst that is within us and within this world. For the kingdom, the power and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen.
Amen. No. Just want to welcome so those who've joined the Methodists group. So Joel, who else? Quite a few over the last couple of hours. So welcome, Joel. It's been nice to have a couple of comments from Amiga Shift. Played one of their tracks, Lazarus Brigade, from the album Doctrines of Dust on the Metal Methodist pod, which is on at the mixtape. Go to metalmethodist.co.uk. So yeah, just finding out who else we need to welcome. Obviously Melissa, and I can't find it. But it's awesome when a member of a band that you like likes your page. So thank you, and total respect to you all. I can't find it. Where's it gone? Anyway, I'm sorry. There was somebody else who joined, and now can't see it for looking. I have liked it. I'm sorry that I can't now find it to welcome you as well. But if you haven't come across to Metal Methodists page, then please do. The chance to sort of share and go through one of the Methodist Way of Life, Metal Methodist Way of Life questions each day, and share a bit like we do here. So yeah, so we pray all those things, and in ways, mystical ways that are God's and more, well, perfect and beyond ours. The situation, all those situations of the world in our own lives, and we act not as if with the belief, as if, and the belief and the promise and the assurance that, as Nick has shared, all shall be well, and all manner of things in all manner of ways we can't imagine shall be well. And just while we're praying, it kind of reminded me, Joyce saying she was at St. Albans Cathedral, and the author of the Word in Time for today. Yeah, I think I think whether it's on the allotment, or at the food bank, whether it's here, whether it's on a cliff, whether it's on a housing estate, whether it's listening to some beautiful piece of classical music, or plain song chant, or some screaming metal, just those places, and how, for me, I think the thing in St. Albans, having not gone to cathedrals very much, but always being fascinated by them, a little bit scared, but if we what I liked there, and what I loved about training with Anglican sisters and brothers, was there was a whole sense of awe that I got from them in respect of God and otherness, not in a completely detached way, but a sort of a transcendent, a lifting up of above yourself and the of what was going on. Not to say it didn't matter, but that sense of glimpsing what might be, of beauty and wonder, and all of that stuff in architecture, the golden ratio, that just these, and the skill of doing all of that, and the height of it, and all of those things, those spaces. So yeah, I think being open to those places that feed us, I guess, whatever it is that feeds you and gives you that glimpse and rootedness in God, and that sense of actually cosmically, eternally, there is a huge story of love, and this is part of it, but it's not the whole story. It's not the end of the story. That is God's, and it's bigger, and it's beautiful, and it's perfect, and it's for all of us and for all creation. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you, Nick. Yes, thank you. I shall message her. I think she said something on Facebook the other day, and I have been thinking of, after writing the stuff to regenerate, I thought, I got a bit fired up to write something. So thank you. Ooh, okay. From Rachel, the most mystical place you've ever been is Orkney. The archaeological sites. Okay. Ooh, yeah. That. Yeah. I mean, I remember being I haven't been. I've watched kind of Neil Oliver bumbling around there with his sort of cool hair but weird cravat thing. Although some of the stuff is shared on GB News, wherever it was doing other stuff. Less a fan of Neil. Go back to 2 Men in a Tent, please. But yeah. That sense of so. And I know from a sociological, psychological perspective, we could all talk about it's trying to offer meaning. And that's why, faith, other, that beyond us, has always been something that humanity seems to have done, whether it's cave paintings and onwards. And we're all part of that tradition, I guess. But I don't know, like when sometimes you go to places, and I've had it in cathedrals. My dad spoke about going to, or my mum spoke about going to an early Celtic saint. It was Ked, and his little kind of cell where he prayed, and going in there, or somewhere it wasn't. It was in the field, and you just wouldn't bat an eyelid with it. But you're walking with it, something hits you. This sort of like sense of 1,000 years of prayer or spirituality or something, and it's almost tangible. But those places that do just take us outside of ourselves, I guess, if that's the sort of experience you had there, Rachel. I think so. I remember going to Stonehenge, and I don't know, just feeling very small, very insignificant, and actually quite scared in terms of just the relative nothingness compared to these structures. It's like standing on the hill on the cliff in Whitby. Just this, but all of this is in motion and goes. And some of the stuff with the storm yesterday, just how quickly creation, need to respect it because it's of God, and it just can reclaim very quickly all of our. What does it say in Ecclesiastes? All our vanities of human ingenuity and endeavour. And there's some fantastic stuff, but also, let's get over ourselves a bit, maybe, as a species, I guess. Okay, so Kate had a mystical experience at the dental hospital. No, okay. That's interesting. Okay, so talking, okay, people share beliefs and need to erect worship moments, but without the language, how do they communicate these ideas? I've read, is it Bernard Cornwell's book on Stonehenge, just offering in fiction form, one theory on what these stones were for. Brilliant. Crowning with many crowns. Oh, brilliant. I'm gonna have to introduce it as that next time we sing it in church. Oh, wow. No, I'd love to, and obviously you don't have to share if you want to share in the private group, or you don't have to at all, Kate, at all, but mystical experiences. Let's all share our mystical. I mean, we need to sort of end this tonight, but if you are in the Metal Methodists group, if you're not, please find us on Facebook and join. You can join the Facebook page Metal Methodist, and then there's a group if you want to have sort of more in-depth conversations. But let's talk mystical experiences. We talked about angels the other day, and maybe we don't talk about angels very much. But and I guess coming up to Halloween, and paranormal this and paranormal that. And hey, I've got enough problems being normal, never mind paranormal. Actually, I don't want to be normal. But just this, more things in heaven and earth, and the sort of mystical experience. And if all things are of God, and people talk about, touching places within sort of Celtic Christianity, where that sense of the ultimate cosmic true reality of God and this reality are thin, and they kind of break through, and maybe they've experienced those. I've shared it the other day. It's like my experience with 3Generate, when being given a Swedish fish at a gummy burger bun by a young lad, because if the message was there's enough for everyone, he noticed I hadn't got any and made sure I got some, and that was the way that impacted me was a spiritual, mystical experience. I think certainly spiritual, whether he'd see it in those terms, but so again, I don't think it's is there anything such what makes or doesn't make a mystical experience? If it's a personal to us and it builds us up in our faith, and if you want to use the word hope instead, or ability to keep on keeping on, and standing for love and justice and mercy, then who is anyone to say whether that is a bona fide mystical experience or not? I don't know. I mean, did we think Revelation's a cheese dream and Enoch's a cheese dream, then did people think the same about Julian? I don't know. Nick, our resident expert, along with Rachel, and well, all of you apart from me, basically. Okay, so in the hospital, it was just being open to God, being in the space and knowing that God was there. Yeah. Cool. Good night, Kate. We're going to sway any second now. But I was just going to, if anybody watched, there was a series called The Monastery, and they took people from ordinary walks of life, some who professed a faith, lost a faith, absolutely didn't want a faith, but were interested in sort of a more contemplative life. And this guy who made his living, he was a film producer, but made most of his money directing kind of porn films, went and really engaged with this thing. And he sat this monk in this room, and they're talking about stuff in the Bible, and then it goes quiet. And this guy just suddenly goes, something, I don't know what, I don't know. I'd obviously experienced or felt something. And then I just remember the monk going, it doesn't matter. I'd call that God. And they just carry on in silence. And like, wow, it was amazing to watch, like hairs on the back of your neck. But that sense of knowing God is there. And sometimes what the reading tonight and the reflection on it, perhaps pointing us to enabling others to, perhaps our job is to say and ask the question, maybe that's God. Perhaps that's God prophetically pointing that out, because as Rachel said, we don't always have the language to name it. So see you, Kate. Hello, Nigel. Oh, don't tell me the score. How did people drag all those stones? Yeah. Ha. Yes. Yeah. Interestingly, that's my way into my sermon tomorrow about, having to pay what you have to pay, even though you might resent it. But yeah, kind of, can you help get the dinner ready? Can you, where's my shirt? Well, it's probably where you left it. Is it clean? I don't know, because it wasn't in the laundry basket, or whatever. And do I have to, sort of thing? Yeah. Cool, Nigel. You take care, mate, and thank you all. Sorry, I'm a bit spaced out tonight. I think I'm waffly, even more so than normal. That's a lot of waffle. Do I get nervous before preaching? No. I get more nervous speaking one-to-one and like social small talk stuff. I find that much harder. Blathering on the internet seems to be all right. I don't necessarily do it well by any means, but I'm saying I'm less bothered by that, or standing up and preaching. And I've found that, whereas I've gone from like literally I would read it from a script, and then I'd get in a knot about have I made a clear point, have I summed it up, whereas to now I think, and then being hit by situations that you didn't expect, and then what you've slaved over is like out the window, to just kind of going, okay, this is the reading, how do I respond to it? What's going on in the world, or particularly for the context and place I was preaching at, and what does people cleverer than me, so most people, say about it, and then doing some reading around it and having a rough way in, a kind of point that might be the thing perhaps. And usually I think people who preach, we preach to ourselves anyway, because you're reflecting in God's word from yourself, from within your own experience, trying to consider others as well, but also I think often the thing that you think you're preaching is actually as much what you need to hear as anybody else. So it's not about standing on a pedestal by any means, the exact opposite, in fact. But then kind of just being open to, so might have a kind of rough route, but how we get there is more of a God thing. And I think like this, kind of where it's collaborative preaching. I think I was reflecting on this last night, that actually we're sharing, and from that together, certainly I'm learning from everybody in their sharing. When we reflect on the Bible stuff, there's stuff that people have shared that I've never ever noticed in something that I thought I knew, and just different perspectives that I think then, so I quite like it when it goes that route. Because then I think that's real and dynamic, and it's got, we're being Jesus to each other, and helping each other, but learning more about each other, and therefore better able to support and pray and walk with each other as we seek to be Jesus and point to heaven, and out in the world, and be better at that, as that reading helped us think about tonight. Cool. I haven't got my mortarboard here, you see, so I won't be doing any Greek. Okay, Angela, don't get nervous preaching very often depends on the congregation. Yeah. I think so. It was interesting that at 3 Generate, I got nervous there. I mean, all the way, I spent the whole time kind of going, this is a terrible mistake. This is going to be awful. Why am I doing this? I don't know, what a silly idea. This is just my ego. And somebody said, oh, would you like to do this? And I've gone, oh yes, that'd be lovely. Love to. What have I done? This is, what have I got to offer? Who likes this stuff? This is, and yet, I had one of the most profound experiences ever. So yeah, I think you're right. The context and the congregation, and sometimes knowing when there are conversations that need to be had, and knowing that they're going to be difficult and painful for some people. But that sense that God is with you and before you. And I think somebody else said, it's kind of maybe in those situations, that's when God really moves, because actually there's literally less of us. And there's just, we've really gone totally God, because I can't, and I'm scared, and I know whatever, and actually we give God the space that, not that God needs that space or permission from us, but I think a God of love is also a God who's respectful, right? So yeah, cool. Thank you all. I'm going to have some dinner. It's reminded me. Thank you. It reminds me to write a sermon for tomorrow. No, I have. Don't worry. No, I've if anyone from my church tomorrow is listening, yes, I've written a sermon. If I've done some reading, I know where we're going. All right. And knowing that it's God working through you, and again, I think in these experiences, a bit like this, that you kind of start something, you think, but it's something that won't go away, so you do it, and then you think, oh man, that completely. And I've heard other people talk about it. It's never happened to me. Not that it matters, but kind of people. Okay, so let me tell you a story. Honestly, then I'll stop. I promise. So somebody I knew who had been to visit somebody at a church where they were a minister, and somebody that this person found quite difficult, and other people in the church and the community generally found this person difficult, and this person's approach, what an amazing approach is this, and I should do this, I think. Bad minister, but we'd get up every day and just pray and go, okay, so God, there's this stuff here in my diary that it says I've got to do, but where is it you need me today? What is it you need me to do? And sometimes, like on this occasion, a name, a face, a thought would come to this person, or they'd be out and about and just think, and they'd kind of go, okay. So I guess opening yourself, like Kate was saying, to God, and then when those things pop into your head, going, okay, so I prayed about it, maybe this is God, maybe I need to be faithful and just kind of see what happens. Worst case, I've contacted somebody, and they're all right, and it's all fine. So they went around to see this person, And you better come in then. Do you want a cup of tea? Tea? No, Hild. And so they stayed for like 2 hours, and they talked in a very stilted, kind of perhaps not very guarded way until there was no tea left, and all of a sudden and then the person just had this sense that it was all right to leave, so they left. Years later, the person goes back to this particular place and encounters this woman who, approaches her like a long lost friend. Because I really thought And he said, no, it turned out that on the day that they'd gone around and seen them, they were literally counting out tablets to attempt to complete suicide. And they stayed, and by the time they left, and whatever time they got this sense it was okay to leave, this person had decided that they'd said, well, for whatever reason, that visit had meant to that person that they weren't alone, and that they mattered to somebody, and they mattered to God. No matter what was said, just the fact that person had turned up because of what that person was praying, what this person was praying, and wow. Yeah. And I can't remember why I went into that, but it was quite profound. Anyway, that actually God works through us in ways that we don't understand at the time. And you think that's gone completely flat, but maybe there's one thing that you said, and it usually is the bit that you didn't write down, or, some throwaway something that somebody then goes, you said this, did I? Well, no, I didn't then, did I? Or we didn't, it was God. And for whatever reason, and just God, I don't know. But if it's encouraging each other and building each other up and helping each other and providing an assurance that you are loved and valued as you are, and offering hope to each other, then it's all good. So Rachel, you're an English teacher. Okay, cool. RE. Okay, cool. Well, I imagine, I would say I was taught GCSE RE by a well, it turned out, I then found out later that most of my RE, in fact, all of my RE teachers were people of faith. But, I just, particularly by a Baptist pastor's spouse, and that was clearly her ministry in her own right, running this school, Christian Union and things. But some of the conversations you can have with somebody of faith that brings it to life, I think are so helpful. And equally, at the school we went, we sort of went around a mosque and different synagogues from different traditions within Judaism. And a guy who was Hindu came and set up his the little shrine that he has at home, and just talking to people and being in a space where you can, be given permission to ask anything and not worry you're going to offend or put your foot in it, but just kind of, to be really free to understand. And I think people respond, particularly younger people. They genuinely want to know and to understand, and I've always experienced it as respectful. So again, just how many lives you have influenced during that, and again in ways you may never know, but you were there and you were willing to do it, and so thank you. Oh dear. Well, when I said all my RE teachers are people of faith, I mean, maybe you just had one that belonged to the Church of Satan. Sorry. No, he's just reminding you, Nick. He's telling you that Jesus, the love of Jesus, can wipe away everything. And I'm going to throw this at you till you get that point. Dear. Was it Rachel? Brilliant. Bless you all again. So I hope if you are going to a service tomorrow, if you worship on a Sunday in an on-site sense, have an awesome one. If you are worshipping at home, if you worship every day, if you are listening to music, if you are going for a walk, if you are seeing family or friends, if you are in the garden, if you're at the allotment, if you are hanging out at a food bank, if you're waiting at a bus stop, wherever it is that you find yourself, may you know that God has gone there before you, and may you encounter God, and may we be the encounter with love that somebody else needs tomorrow. Until then, blisters and others. Wait, comment. Just like God. Yeah. Amen. On that note, actually, Nigel, bang on. Let us sway. Sway with me, metal Compline. Sway with me, metal Compline. Oh, Nick. Oh, man. Oh, this has proper cheered me up. I wasn't even depressed or down.